Okay, in this video I want to show you how to draw the four triangles for the triangle exercise. I'm assuming that you don't know anything about AutoCAD at this point, that you're new. So I'm going to try to show you some a few different ways of doing different things. Okay, but I'm going to go through this slowly and very thoroughly. So if you miss something, then just back the video up and watch it again. So I started a new drawing, and I'm just using the Imperial template with feet and inches. Okay, I'm in the AutoCAD model space, and you can see my crosshairs moving around now. So the first triangle we want to draw is this one. Okay. Now the thing about technical drawing is I could draw a triangle just very quickly, and it would be over. It would just. But the thing is would the sides all be have a length of 5? Would all the angles uh, between the sides have a angle of 60? Okay, so that's what technical drawing is about, precision. Okay, so let's work on this to start off with, and through the rest of this course, I'm going to show you a lot of different geometry that we can learn together in the book, and this will help you throughout this course and the rest of the program. And so we'll just go ahead and get started. So there's some settings I want you to check down here on the bottom. Okay, um, two buttons in particular that are helpful. This is ortho. Okay, and you can see by the icon it has two lines with a little bracket in between. You generally see that with when you're creating a 90-degree angle. Okay, and that's exactly what ortho does. This will only allow you to draw a line, for example, straight up and down or straight left to right. That's the only two directions that'll let you draw it. The box right next to it is polar tracking. Okay, it will help you align to a certain angle. Okay, for example, if I wanted to draw a line at exactly 15 degrees, polar tracking has a setting that allows me to do that. And there's different functions that you could have there. So I think what I want to do is turn polar on. Okay, when it's blue, that means it's on. You can right click and go to settings, and you get these different angles and so forth. Okay, I think for what we're doing right now, I'm not going to worry so much about the angles. Okay, but if you want to change yours to 15, you can use this drop down. Okay, but the main reason I want to use polar for this is to make sure that I can draw a line straight left to right and up and down. Most people would use ortho for that. I'm used to polar. Okay, so we'll draw that first triangle. Again, it has sides of length 5 and the angles are 60 degrees. So how would you go about doing that? And the very first thing that I would do is draw the horizontal line from left to right with a length of 5. And you can do this very easily in AutoCAD by using something called direct distance input. Okay, so you want to enter the line command. It's on the draw panel of the home tab. Okay, 99 times out of 100 I won't use the button. I will just type in line or L followed by pressing enter on the keyboard. So I'll type L, enter, and just anywhere in model space. Okay, just left click and then pull your crosshairs out to the right. And as I move my crosshairs out to the right, I see this green dashed line. Okay, the reason I'm seeing that is because of the polar tracking. Right now it wants me to snap to a 0-degree angle. Okay. One other thing I want to talk about before we get going here. I want to click escape to get out of that command. This next box is called object snaps, and this allows us to draw quickly but also accurately at the same time. And you can kind of think of these. I've heard them described like magnets, for example. Okay, if I right click and go to settings, I'll show you what I'm talking about. These object snaps run all the time in the background. So say I have a line drawn and I want to draw a second line. If I get near the end point of the first line, I will see this object snap light up, and when I get near it, it kind of like almost pulls it toward the other end point. Okay, so the end point of my second line is directly at the end point of the first line. So that's what makes it accurate. And plus, when I see this little icon light up, that lets me know that that's where that's going to snap. Same thing with the midpoint and the center and so on and so forth. Okay, so these are the check marks that I have turned on all the time, and you can also make sure that those are checked. So make sure all these that I have checked are checked on your machine as well. So again, to turn these on and off, if they're blue they're on, if they're gray they're off. To change the settings, you right click on them and go to settings, and then you can make the changes. Okay, so let's go back to what I was doing before. I'm going to enter L followed by enter. Okay, and just anywhere in model space I want to click. Okay, and I'm going to pull my crosshairs directly to the right. I see the green tracking line, and since I want this line to be a length of 5 units, I will just type 5, enter. Okay, so that part was easy. Alright, we have the bottom part of the line, so now let's work on the creating these lines that are equal. Okay, and when we do this, we'll also make all the angles equal by default. Okay, so the way to do this is an easy way to do it, is to use the circle command. I know you don't see any circles here, but you can use circles for geometric construction because circles have a constant radius. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me just draw a circle out here. So it doesn't matter if I draw a line from the center point here to the edge here or to the edge here, that line will have the same length as that line. So we can take advantage of that property a lot. Okay, so what I want to do now is to draw a circle. Okay, and I will enter the circle command. I will simply enter C and then enter. Okay, and you can see that the circle command started. So I have my endpoint snap turned on, my endpoint running object snap. So when I get near the crosshairs, that should light up. Okay, so I'll left click, and then you can see a circle with a center point attached to the endpoint of that first line. By the way, you can zoom and pan while you're in another command. You don't have to exit the command to do it. So all I want to do is to my center point's here, and I want to snap to the other end of that line. And I want to do the same thing from the other end. I want to go from this endpoint. Okay. Now that snap that you see there is quadrant. Okay, the quadrant of the circle I just drew. And let me go back over here to show you where the quadrants are. The quadrants are kind of like on the 90-degree angles of the circle. Okay, the extreme top, extreme left, extreme right, extreme bottom. Okay, so it just happens to be picking up the quadrant snap instead of the endpoint because they lie together. Okay, so then I will go to the endpoint of this line. Okay, so at this point I just want to draw another line, so I'll press L, enter, and I'll go from the endpoint here or the quadrant, same thing, and then go to the intersection. I also have an intersection snap. You see the X, okay, and I want to draw another line. Okay, I don't actually have to exit the line command. I can just move on to the next point. Okay. Now once I've done that, I have my triangle. It's exactly what it needs to be. Okay. I just need to erase the two circles that I used to construct it. Okay. And one way I can do that is I can just click on the circles and then use the erase command. The erase command is here in the modify panel, so if I just press that, they go away. Alright, so just to show you that these lines are all in fact a length of 5, I can just click on this, and if I look down here in the properties palette, I can see this has a length of 5. I'm going to hit escape to get out of that. I'll click the next line. This also has a length of 5, also a length of 5. I can check the angle between these. You don't have to do this, but there's a dimension angle command that I'll use, DIMANG. Now again, these shortcut commands, if these bother you, there are buttons for these, but again, I'm not showing you actually how to use this, just verifying for you, and you can do this yourself. DIMANG, press by enter, and then you click one line and then the next, and it'll give you the angle in between. So that's the first triangle, and that's probably the most difficult. Okay, so let's see what's next. Let's work on this one. Okay, now this is an isosceles triangle. The base has a length of 5, and according to the directions here, we want the height to be 5 as well.